Miss Hellman, when this scene that we've just seen moves into catastrophe and it moves into disaster, it is partly, isn't it, because money, the fact of cash, has come into these people's lives. And this is a theme that's occupied you in more plays than one. Now, why is this? Am I right to start with? Does it occupy you?
Yes, not in every play, but it does, yes.
Now, why?
It's an important subject, not because of the notes involved, or the cash involved, but because of the symbol money is in most people's lives. In this particular play, I suppose I wanted to say that this man, if he had lived in another world, another time, would have done what he was meant to do, which was to be a very simple man who spent his life hunting and shooting instead of living in a large city with the standards of success that two well-meaning women have taught him to have.
The reason why I ask this question is because it's not as usual as all that for American playwrights to write about money, is it?
No, it isn't for some reason. I don't know why. Goodness knows European writers have.
They do.
There's a wonderful quotation from Brecht, from Bertolt Brecht, that I probably will misquote, but the meaning is, I think he said that American writers so seldom wrote about money that he suspected they wrote for it.
You, however, do write about money.
And for it.
And for it as well. All right, when I say when you write for money, let me put another question I was going to put much later on, which is this. You've never been an avant-garde writer, have you? You've never been radical in the theatre, in the sense of writing for little theatres, writing experimental plays and so on. You've always written well-made plays, right for the very centre of the theatre, and most of them have been hits. Now, I take it that this is because you have written straightforwardly for money and like doing so and think it's a good thing to do.
Well, I don't want to sound avant-garde and arty, but I was being smart-aleck when I said I wrote for money. Actually, I don't think I think about it until the play comes on, and then, of course, I want it. But I don't think I've thought about it a great deal, because I don't think it would do any good, not because I'm too noble to think about it. I just don't think anybody knows what is going to be successful or not, so I've tried to do what I wanted to do.
Now, what you want to do has got something to do with the Deep South. Not, again, in every play, but 2 of your plays, 3 of your plays are about the Deep South. You come from the Deep South. Now, why are all plays and novels and things from the Deep South? You know, by Tennessee Williams and by William Faulkner and so on. Why are the families and the people concerned so decadent always?
I don't know, Mr. Wheldon. I don't know what decadent means, I guess.
Well,
what does it mean to you?
Perhaps decadent is the wrong word. Take Little Foxes, for example. That's about 3 sisters, isn't it? And 2 brothers. Now, each of the 3 sisters tests the other. The 2 brothers who are married to 2 of these sisters don't like each other much, and they don't like any of the sisters. In fact, there are 5 people, and they all loathe each other like poison. Now, this isn't exactly a representative American family, is it?
Oh, I don't know. Decadent always seems to me something that the person who uses the word isn't. But I don't know what it means. It's not unrepresentative, no. I suppose in the theater or in novels or in poetry, one heightens something. One makes love more loving and hate more hateful, I suppose. But I don't think of it as decadent, but I don't think of Faulkner as decadent either. I don't. Or dealing with decadent people.
Neither do I, as a matter of fact, but or dealing with decadent people. You don't think that the situations of the Deep South writers, on the whole, are extraordinarily degenerate?
Not at all.
I'm not saying this accusingly.
No, not at all. But we each define degenerate some other way, I suppose. I suppose people have always told me a highly moral writer.
You're a moralist.
I'm a moralist. Maybe moralists don't think of things as decadent or
although you're a moralist, the goods, so to speak, don't get much of a look in, do they? It's the evil people who really who are really all powerful in your plays. Mind you, they crack.
No, I don't think that's true. I just think that there are a lot of good people in my plays. In Little Foxes, there were 4 very good people. In this play, there are at least half the people, at least I think, very good. Yes. Certainly in Watch on the Rhine, everybody was a little too good, if anything. But who is to define good or bad? You know, I don't know what are good people or bad people, except the way I define.
But you do define them, don't you? I mean, you certainly are a moralist as a writer. Is that right?
I'm afraid so. Yes. Yes.
Why should you be afraid? Don't you like that?
Not very much. Not very much. I wish I were a little less rigid about the morals I believe in.
How rigid are you about the plays? When, for example, you came to write that scene we've just seen now, how did this start? Or let me put it another way, if you like. Do you ever find that the characters walk away with you, seeing that you make such violent characters that they go off and do things which you didn't want them to do?
Oh, yes. All writing that one believes in, I think, that people should walk away with you. You should have no control, really, until you exercise a final control and a final version. But people, if you're writing about real people, it seems to me that they should just walk away and take paths you have no knowledge of.
Take this last scene. Did that happen with that last scene, or did that come straight, or what?
I think I never remember very clearly what I did. I write any number of versions of a play and take endless time to do it. But a friend of mine claims that I act each time about 6 months after the play is done as if I did it in 2 weeks with both hands tied behind my back. So I'm not sure I would trust my memory of it. But this play, the one thing I do remember is this play started out, really, to be almost entirely about Julian Bernier's, and was, for the first 2 versions, until I decided that I couldn't write a play, as a woman, I couldn't write a play where the man was the only main character. I hope I've written understandable men, but I don't think I'm capable of writing a play in which the man is the only main character. I wish I was.
So the play actually changed, did it, in consequence of this?
Oh, the play changed enormously. The play had 3 versions. Each version kept changing. I don't like to have old copies near me, so I throw them away in the belief that what's good you'll remember, and what's not any good you might as well throw in the wastepaper basket anyway. So I start fresh each time.
Now this scene, in that case, I imagine, must have been a little different to start with, the one we've just seen, because there would have been more of an attention on the man, seeing that originally the play was about the man.
Yes, it was quite different. It really ended as the play was to end, in the belief that not belief, but on the thesis that a man given other people's standards would change, and in changing would become a less nice man. And the end of the play, which is no longer at all true, was that he had become this successful, bumptious, brash character that money gave him, he thought, the right to be.
When people say of you, as critics I know from press cuttings and so on, say all the time in America that your plays are Chekhovian and that your roots are in Chekhov, does this make sense to you? Are they in Chekhov?
I don't think so, Mr. Wheldon. But then I don't pay much attention to what critics think about a writer's roots. You know, somebody's always got to place something somewhere neatly. As a matter of fact, I never read Chekhov except the short stories when I first started to write, because the plays weren't published in America until very late. Chekhov wasn't published at all, I think, in America until the middle 20s.
Really?
So I don't think, I may have read one play, but I certainly don't think I'd read any more than that. I have a great interest and admiration for Chekhov, but...
All right, on this matter of roots, how far, you said you didn't know what your roots were in a way, how far are your roots actually in the deep south, to come back to that?
I suppose very deep, because I keep coming back to it. I grew up, I only partly grew up there, I also grew up in the north. It's an interesting place, the South, because it has, as you know, brought out in the last generation, 2 generations, a most interesting group of writers.
It certainly has.
Mr.
Why?
Faulkner and Miss Welty and Carson McCullers and Tennessee Williams, and I don't know why. It didn't bring much before, so maybe it was due for a flowering. Maybe the Civil War hurt so deeply and killed so much in the South that maybe it killed the 19th century writers in the early 20th century ones, but there has been a great flowering in the South of writers. It's a rather eccentric place. It's probably the only eccentric place left in America.
You can, however, you think, write American plays saying things to American peoples about America using this eccentric material.
I think so. Then, of course, everybody can blame it on the South. Everybody can say the eccentric South, no more eccentric than any other place, of course. Just happens to be that they're more isolated and the towns are smaller, people know each other better, they have stranger, deeper roots.
And better material for a play in the end.
Well, I don't know, I think so, sometimes.
Miss Hellman, thank you very much indeed.